next one. Let's see what, oh. Okay. Let me see here. Look at this. I just want to show you. This is what I've got for today. I mean, you guys are phenomenal. You're sending all these questions. I wish I had 5 hours to sit here with you. Okay, so this one is from K G Moila. KG, I just want to say, girl, thank you very much for sending so many questions in, because you honestly are a regular contributor, and I thank you for taking the time to do so. Okay, people, here we look at the skulls of 3 organisms. Okay. And this is actually a very nice question. So, and obviously, I mean, it comes from the GDE. So, yeah, you got Susan Vista and all her girls and boys, and they are amazing. So here we go. We've got A, we've got B, we've got C. Well, C we know is a human. So it would be a modern human, or you can say Homo and lowercase sapien. Okay, this one looks like a gorilla. And this is one of your, here you go. That's probably an Australopithecus. Australopithecus. Otherwise, Becky fights with me when I write with blue on the other blues. There you go. I modified it. Okay. Now, people, this structure here, this round thing that you see there, is called the foramen magnum. Okay, and that foramen magnum is the hole into the skull where the spinal cord goes, well, clearly, from the cord goes from the spine and meets and goes into the brain and connects the brain. Because remember, your central nervous system consists of, the central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord. So you've got to get the spinal cord to get into the brain. Okay, now, if you're sitting like we are now, well, the head is in line with the spinal cord, so it has to be in the middle. Otherwise, we're going to be off balance. If you look at a gorilla is on all fours, okay? So when they're on all fours, their head can't be like that, okay? It's this way. So the entry of the spinal cord into the brain cavity, or the skull cavity where the brain is, it has to be back so that it can actually fit in there, because this thing's head's here, okay? And as organisms became bipedal. Pedal means feet. You don't pedal with your hands. You pedal with your feet. Okay? So bi means two legs. Bipedal, okay? So that foramen magnum, the hole in the skull, started to go backwards to the center, at least move forwards to the center of the skull. So if you look here, you go from the gorilla right at the back to a bit more forward with your Australopithecus or your Australopithecines, and then to your Homo sapiens, which is us, who's supposed to be the most evolved, and we sit over here. Okay, so let's look at our questions. Label X and the type of teeth at Y. So let's see, X is the foramen magnum, and the type of teeth at Y are the canines. Now, you must also remember, the less ripping that these organisms had to do, the more reduced the teeth got. And the more cooking of food, the softer the food was to eat. So you didn't have to rip them and have these huge, big teeth. Okay, explain the significance of the location of X in organism C. Okay, I've already explained that. As the foramen magnum has moved towards the center of the skull, that's because the spinal cord has to enter at that point for a bipedal organism. In other words, the head and the spine are vertical. They're straight. Okay? Which of the skulls, A, B, C, belongs to an Australopithecine? Well, it would be B. There's our little guy. And a quadrupedal. Okay, now, a quadri means 4. Pedal means feet. Now remember, gorilla walks on all 4. So a quadrupedal primate, primates, gorilla. There we go. So it's A. Alrighty. And then it says, explain how the change in the skull from B to C could indicate a change in intelligence. Well, remember, the larger the cranium, okay, the place where the brain sits, the more brain capacity there would be, well, because there's more brain tissue. So as the cranial size, so they said between B and C, we just, was it B and C? Yes, it's between B and C. So look at the size of let me use orange. Look at the size of that cranium, and then look at the size of this cranium. This is almost double the size. So you can put more brain tissue in here than you can there. Okay, I mean, that is just common sense. More brain, if the bag is bigger, you can pack more clothes in. Okay, if the bag is smaller, you can't pack too many clothes in. So it's exactly the same thing, except here it's not clothes, it's brain cells. So the more brain cells you have, hopefully, the more intelligent you are. Okay, and that is how you work it out. The bigger the brain capacity, okay, or the bigger the cranium size, the more brain tissue, and the more brain tissue indicates a higher intelligence. Alrighty, and describe the significance of the shape of each of the following as a trend in human evolution. Okay, if we look at the spine, okay, this, I need to write. So let's get some yellow here. Okay, so if we look at A, the spine, all right, so the spine changed from a C shape. Remember, your gorilla's head is here, and the spine does that, okay? You guys are going to laugh at me, but yeah, okay, so they're the four legs of the gorilla, okay? So it's got a C-shaped spine. So that shape to a more curved S-shaped spine to support bipedalism. Okay, so when you've got the head here and the spine goes down and then you've got the legs, all right, our spines from the side do this. So you've got this S-shaped curve like that, and then the head sits there. Okay, next, last question that let me just quickly go up here. I'm going to just talk. And when we talk about the shape of the pelvis, think about this. The shape of the pelvis now has to carry everything. Okay, all the weight. So the pelvis became shorter and wider versus the longer, narrower spine. A pelvis of your quadrupedal animals.